is looking back towards Birmingham city centre. See how absolutely dead straight that is. Dual towpaths, the motorway of its day. So this section of the Birmingham Mainline, Telford's dual carriageway as such, features 2 or 3 of these, and they're gauging stations, old gauging stations. There would have been a building on there, and actually about there is a gap there. That is watered up the middle, so there would have been a space there where they could pull a boat in. And basically it gave them that chance to measure the draft, so how deep is the boat sitting in the water. All the boats were sort of measured, so all the names of the boats, the numbers of the boats, the people that operated those stations would check the book, and depending on how deep it sits in the water would therefore depend how much weight was being carried, and therefore they would be charged for that. So that's an old gauging station. Again, this is further evidence of the loops from James Brindley that have since been cut off. Still in water up there. Something going that way at some point. So just come under the Avery Railway Bridge. We're heading down towards the Smethwick Junction now. There's architecture everywhere. It's, I mean, it's dilapidated. It's broken down. It's got branches and trees growing out of it. But it all tells a story, you know. It's all quite amazing. All the little doorways, all the little window hatches, the old loading bays, things like that. It's really interesting. It doesn't seem to matter where you go now, right in the heart of the urban city. There's the heron. be a story behind every bridge, won't there? Every bridge name. So there we can see Smethwick Junction just coming into view. So dead ahead is Telford's new main line. And we're going to branch off to the right onto Brindley's old main line. Picking up a friend of mine down here, Kathy Kinkham. She's a big part of some BCN related Facebook groups. And she's going to join me for the Smethwick locks. I think they're her local locks, but she's really got used to coming on board with me now. She's done quite a few of the flights with me. She does the Farmers Bridge flight with me a lot. Thankfully, somebody has to. And she's inspired to take a little holiday on a narrowboat herself next year with her husband. So that's great. So she's picking up a few pointers from me, letting her have a go. She's gaining confidence all the time, so it's a nice thing to do, you know. Such a great way to travel about on the canals. You can imagine people who live outside of Birmingham city centre, who work in Birmingham. It's on a bike. The paths are really have been maintained, and so they're fantastic for that commute into Birmingham if you're a cyclist. Because Smethwick to Birmingham by road is, you know, it's not that quick, but on a bike, it's pretty much a straight line following Telford's canal straight in. So here we are, Smethwick Junction. There it is in all its glory. New main line down there, old main line here, and we're going to climb. There's Kathy on the bridge. So that's Kathy on board. So off we go. We're heading towards the 3 locks now that take us up onto the Smethwick summit. So that was a nice surprise. You don't actually get a lot of boat traffic on this old main line anymore. So to come past one other boat, it's fantastic. It's landed just right in the locks. So this is only about the third other travelling boat I've seen in about 4 days. So the BCN is so underused as a waterway, which is a great shame. It's a great shame. I don't know how many miles I've done in the last few days, but I haven't been in my weed hatch yet. You read Facebook and everybody says, oh, I had to go in my weed hatch 6 times. Oh, I only got a couple of miles. I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't know why people have weed hatch issues. If I feel or see that my the wash off my prop is looking dodgy, couple of reverse thrusts, job done. Perfect. Hello mate, you alright? I was in Brum. Yeah, Gas Street. Gas Street. Yeah. So welcome to Top Lock at Smethwick. So this is the top lock of 3. So as I said earlier, Brindley originally had 6 locks, so they carried on up there. But when Smeaton came along 20 years later, under the orders to make this more efficient, he was able to create a cutting up there which reduced 3 locks. I think there were 2 cuttings created that brought this down to 3 locks. On top of that, he then added locks side by side. So we still had 6 locks, but it was 3 side by side. I would suspect that that was kind of a dual carriageway sort of system where one would go one direction, one would go the other. So you can actually still see the lines of where the old lock was, and you can certainly see the V there where the boats could go either side. So just imagine what this place was like prior to the extra locks put in, when this was 6 locks. You had something like 100 boats a day were coming out of the Black Country, bringing coal into Birmingham. So those boats would have been, empty boats would have been going back. Okay, so just picture the scene of those 100 boats travelling around, horses, one towpath, horses trying to cross each other. And the towpaths wouldn't have been like they are today. They would have been messy, dirty, muddy old things. The horses were slipping in the water, the ropes were getting tangled up, they were fighting, they were bartering with each other to get through the locks. It would have been absolute mayhem. So this is one of the old sort of toll house, lockkeeper's house, call it what you will. This actually is a replica, and it's not a perfect replica because the original one was a rectangular shaped building. But this is a sort of typical of what the lockkeeper would have been in. So that lockkeeper was probably under a lot of pressure, trying to keep everybody happy, trying to make sure that somebody wasn't jumping the queue. There would have been all sorts of shenanigans going on, no doubt.
Missus, get your kids back inside the boat. They're not supposed to be running around, all right? And Cecil, if you hit him, you'll have... Right, that's it.
So now we're going to make the sharp turn over Thomas Telford's fantastic aqueduct. It's an absolute masterpiece, as were most of his stuff. It's a proper sharp turn, this one. And this takes us on to what's known as engine arm. So Telford was forced to create this because of his fantastic work in creating the cutting below. He then needed to create this fantastic cast iron or wrought iron aqueduct to be able to get across his own cutting. Now this is a beautiful piece of work. So this would have been, I'm guessing now because I've not looked at my books properly, 1830s, 40s. So here we are up on the aqueduct into Engine Arm, crossing over Telford's own Mainline canal. There we see another one of the gauging stations we spoke about earlier. So this is an absolute work of art. So there's the Smethwick 3 on Brindley's old main line. Down there, Telford's new main line. And sitting behaving yourself is the beautiful Wee May on Telford's fantastic aqueduct. Back onto Telford's new main line. There is a second towpath on the other side there. It's overgrown these days. There's the gauging station. There's the fantastic aqueduct. So whilst we're here, we might as well have just a quick look at the forgotten industry. It's a bit tight and sexy through there, doesn't it? I know there are a few moorings up here, so this channel should be fine.
Engine Arm is so called due to the fact that it did indeed have a pump engine located up here. Originally that brought water in just via a tunnel into the Smethwick level, but a canal was then dug to allow barges to take coal up to the pump engine itself. There was also a feed in via a culvert from Rotten Park Reservoir right back in Birmingham city centre. That's now known as Edgbaston Reservoir. We spoke about that in one of the earlier episodes. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share on this video. It all helps. And we'll see you next time in what will be the final vlog in this series of comparisons against Telford and Brindley. See you soon, look after yourselves and Happy New Year.